Good evening, all of you. Welcome to RUGNIT program. Welcome to the module PLSQL. How are you all? About others, Akshay, Kumaran, Shayan. Right. Good evening, all of you. How are you, Sunny Kumar, Shayan, Akshay, all of you others. Right. All from Borivali, that Copper, and the West Center, Bandra, Aryanagar, Kanpur, Gachi, Southex, Tambaram. Yes, Sunny. It would be right. Few minutes. Koshi, fine. So what about the practical? Till what chapter you have completed practical activity? Can I know from all of you? Just type the number. Till what chapter you have done practical? All of you? Yes, you guessed it. Shian. All of you please respond. So others are joining today. You haven't started the practical till now. Okay, Shian, taken point. So I can understand the way how you are going on. So just click on plus and minus. Finally, I'll take the details from all of you. Okay. So as part of the PLSQL, we are going to have a discussion on explicit cursor as the topic today. Okay. So far in our PLSQL, we have completed 6 chapters, and in one particular chapter, we have completed 1 minute. Bandra Center, Sharat. Fine. All of you, I hope you can find now how it is. The volume is fine with you all. Please respond. Fine. Good. Yes. So in the previous chapter, we had a discussion on an implicit cursor. Now we are moving to have a discussion on explicit cursor. So I want to recall the topic whatever I covered in the previous class related to cursor. So then we shall move forward the work with cursor. Okay. So certain objective we should reach, and we have to discuss certain points in our today's session. We need to have a discussion on what is an implicit cursor, what is explicit cursor, and reasons for using explicit cursor, and how to work with explicit cursors, how to use loops in explicit cursor, and how to update using explicit cursor. Those are all the different objectives. Okay. First one, as the first part of today's session, we should discuss what is explicit cursor. Before that, I want to share an example. Conceptually, I want to share a certain point with you all that I request you all to analyze. Then we will move forward to discuss more. Okay. From the front-end environment, you will deal with the back-end database. So as part of this concept, I have already explained, but I'm sharing one more time with the objective that to make you much more clear with whatever I'm explaining. Okay. So otherwise, it would be difficult to you all to analyze much more well. So here, when you are sending a request to the database to access the data from the backend, the database is the repository as a logical repository where data is physically available in your computer, right? So when you are accessing the data from these different data objects like tables, just I have mentioned that different table structures here as the data objects. Now, when you are sending a request as a query to access the data from the database, this picture will speak about the way how you write a query and retrieve the data. Select star from a table. This is one statement. Or select, you may write a column 1 or column 2 or column 3. So like from table, right? This is one more query statement. Or you may insert the data, or you may update or delete the data. So these are the DML operations also you may perform with the database. But all these operations would take place in a particular memory block called as cache memory. So this one already I explained to you all. This particular area you can consider it as a memory block or memory area where these operations take place. Okay. So this memory is called as cache, right? This won't be in the control of you to perform any other operation in your entire process of working with SQL. So this is the memory will be used by database. Okay. So your sorting, your fetching, all operations, your fetch, your sort, your filter, your join operations, and your subquery, your delete, insert, update, all before sending to you, it would be performed only in the memory area. Okay. So this particular memory, if you can refer in your program, that is a private memory of your database, is a private memory of the database. This memory is private to database. Okay. This private memory, how you can access into your application. So that area is called as cursor. Okay. So giving a name to a private memory of your database is cursor name. Okay. Can I know from all of you? Is it clear what is cursor? Then how explicitly you can create a cursor is the one we are going to discuss. Okay. All of you please respond, as this picture speaks about the purpose of the cursor and speaks about the basic concept of cursor. Make it fast. Yes, Shion. All of you, why you are hesitating? It's not the first time I am explaining the same diagram. So whatever the time I spent on this is the second time the same picture I explained. Okay. So for that I request you all to respond by clicking on play. Right. So if you don't study the previous one that I thought of explaining once again, so I drawn the picture again with lot of efforts. Right. You can click on plus if you are clear. Late joinees are not applicable for this. Fine. So when you are understanding the cursor, cursor is every SQL statement that is executed by the Oracle server has associated individual cursors. What is individual cursor? Is the memory block. So implicit cursor declared and managed by PLSQL for all DML and PLSQL statements. But explicit cursor is the one you can declare, you can manage. So that is the one will be declared and managed by the programmer. So as you are a programmer, you only should declare, you only should use that particular cursor in your PLSQL program. Fine. So implicit cursor will be maintained and managed by Oracle, but explicit cursor will be designed or declared and managed by the programmer. So that is the concept here, and we will see how an explicit cursor works. Okay. So as part of this, I want to share certain points with you all. Those technical points I request you all to analyze so that easily you can understand about the cursor. Okay. Any questions so far? Explicit is not manual. You only will create a cursor name. You only use the cursor in your program as a variable which refers to the memory. Okay. So declare the query in the sense like you are going to write it as a program. and there you want to refer a name to that particular memory block of the computer. So that whatever the memory I have shown in the picture, for that memory you are going to give a name, that is explicit cursor. Fine. Fine. So now here a small example, you look into this. So you want to retrieve some data from the table. So that is our objective. When you want to retrieve some data from the table, so multiple rows may be returned from that particular query statement. When you are returning multiple rows from the query, so this is called as the active set. Whatever the rows you are returning from the query, all those rows are called as active set. So assume that this is the data, whatever you are trying to read, issuing a select statement or issuing a column list like employee ID, employee name, employee designation. So that is the data of the table you are reading. But when you are fetching the data, it is called as the active set. This active set may have multiple rows, okay? But at the time when this row is reading from that particular database, it would be read one after one. That process is called as row by row processing. Okay? Point taken. So when you are referencing the memory location of the computer by creating a cursor, how you can do it? So simple. I want to share the example once again. This is the private memory where all operations takes place. Giving a name to that particular private memory is of database cursor. So this memory block we are going to define in our location, okay, in our computer, where you are writing a statement from user environment. So in your program you are going to give a name to this memory block. So that is called as a cursor. Fine. So when you are going to create a cursor, certain steps you should do. You should declare a cursor. So that is the name of a SQL Server memory area. So that point you please analyze. Create a named SQL area. So that is the first one. Like generally how you declare a variable, same way you can declare a cursor. Once you declare a cursor, it is not ready to accept any value to be copied. So open the cursor. So open the cursor is in the sense you can make the active set to be loaded into the cursor. First one is declarative section in the PLSQL block. So that is declare a cursor. So name of the cursor you will define in the declarative section. Through program anyhow we will discuss, but I am explaining some part of the theory also. Second thing, you should open the cursor. When you open the cursor, what are the operations you want to do with the cursor memory block? So identify the active set, like the query result set. Then read the rows into your variables. What are the variables you declared in the program? So from data set you want to store the data into the variable. In case if the no data has been returned, if that is empty, so the no data will be returned, that is no fetch. Then the last action, whether you read it or not, then it has to be closed. Closing in the sense, what are the memory you created as the name of the memory block, that has to be released from the occupied data. So that is closing of the cursor. So these four actions we should do. One is you have to declare the cursor is nothing but the name of the memory block. Second one, you have to open that particular cursor, right? When you open the cursor, what are the variables you declared, to that variable the memory block data will be bind. The third one, you have to fetch the data from the cursor. So fetching data in the sense, you have to read the data from the cursor. So once the work is done, then it can be closed. If no data found, then it is empty. Okay? Point taken. If it is not empty, fetch it. If it is empty, close it. So that is the flowchart here. If it is not empty, fetch the data. If it is empty, close the cursor. So point is clear, all of you. So this I requested you all before the last class, at the end of the last class, almost the class due for yesterday. So 48 hours before, I requested you all to go through the implicit cursors which we have already discussed. How many have studied it? Can I know? So controlling explicit cursor, open the cursor, cursor pointer, fetch a row, close the cursor. So these are the actions we should do for the purpose of working with cursor. Fine. I want to share this example in a simple way, easily you can understand. So can I know from all of you, if you have any question you can ask me, else I will move forward to explain more about cursor. Yes, Kankurgachi, you have a question, you can ask me the question, what are the question you have, okay? Otherwise, I am taking you all to my computer environment. From there, I want to write a query to read the data. Here, this area I am going to use for creating a small program. What is actually work of a cursor in Oracle? Cursor, I want to take you on air. Yes, who is there in Kankurgachi? Your name? Hold the mic. Unmute your mic. No, you are not audible.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible. What is your question?
Yeah, sir. Actually, I just want to know that what is the actually use of a cursor in Oracle, because I have a confusion regarding cursor.
Okay, the confusion started today or in the last week or before last week?
The last day before yesterday.
So, did you attend the class of what is cursor I explained in the beginning?
Yeah, yes. I have attended the class day before yesterday.
Okay. So, from this picture, what did you understand?
That is too much confusion I have, that I don't understand. I mean, it's big confusion about the cursor. That's why I'm asking. So what is actually used of a cursor?
No. This picture is clear to you or not is my question.
Yeah, this picture is absolutely clear to me.
Picture is absolutely clear means there is a memory space where certain operations takes place, right? This memory space is not your memory area. You are a user or you are a programmer, okay? This is the block you can consider is the barrier between you and backend database, okay? In this database, whatever operations you do, fetching data, sorting data, filtering data, joining data, deleting, updating, inserting, all would be taking place in a memory block. That memory is a cache memory. That memory is a private memory to Oracle, not to you. Okay? This memory will be used by Oracle only. Means your database will use that memory. Your requirement is what? Your requirement is to get data, right? Or your requirement is to insert data. So I have written all the things here, right?
Okay.
So this all operations would not be taken place in your computer at your location, right? It would be taken place somewhere else and it will send you to your environment, right?
Okay.
Now to this private memory, you want to give a name. That name you want to use in your program. Okay. So cursor giving a name to the memory, private memory of the database, that is cursor. Okay. So this memory, generally what is variable? If I ask you a question, what is variable? This is not the thing related to, yes please, what is variable? Name of a memory. I don't explain in this PLSQL, but we discussed in the first chapter. name of a memory, right? So same manner, how you are giving a name to a variable, you are giving a name to the private memory of Oracle. That is called as cursor.
Okay.
Okay? Fine.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Fine. Fine. So we shall thank her because she asked me to explain again. But how you are all joining late? We have said sorry, join late. Okay, accepted. But if you are all joining late, if you are asking me to explain again, it's a trouble. We can send a mail to you all at what time you joined, at what time you disconnected or connected. Everything is recording here. Please be available on time to the session. Okay. So this cursor as a small example, we shall see how to use. Okay. So I'm going to write a small program. Before that, I want to take you all to explain on which table I'm going to write a first program. And whoever asking me 5th and 6th chapter examples, I haven't uploaded, and tomorrow I'll upload. On your machine room, you will have that data. Okay, 5th and 6th chapter examples. This is the 7th chapter in Oracle Fundamentals. So if you don't study, coming chapters will be much more complex. Okay, so please go through the courseware, read and do practical. So here I am going to give an example on a particular table. Select star from customer table. Customers table. So we have the data of the customers total. Apart from the first record, we have in a sequential order. 7 records are there. Okay. So out of these 7 records, then when I retrieve the data, select star from customers, where actually the process taken place in the memory. Okay, it was taken place in the Oracle memory that was presented to me into the client environment. I am a client computer user. Okay. Now I want to give a name to this private memory. I want to access the data from there directly. So that's the one I'm going to do as the cursor operation here. Fine. So explicitly I want to declare certain variables as a part of the program. Declare statement. In the declare, I want to declare some variables here. So in the customer ID is there as the one. I want to take customer underscore ID is the name of the variable. So that is available in the customers table. I am taking the customers table dot ID property. So ID property data type I want to directly take. So the ID property data type is modulus type attribute I am using. So that is the customers table dot ID property type I am taking. So that is one variable. It is not at all a cursor, just a variable I declared. And I want to take one more property from the customer. That is, I want to take the name of the customer. So I want to change the name as customer name. So second variable. Third variable, here we have one more property, customer address. So here I want to take customer address property. Fine. So customer dot address. That means I am taking the data type of the existing table into my variables. I did not mention any other type here. Now the cursor I want to declare. In this process of declaration of the cursor, so it's a private memory of the computer where Oracle database uses. So that I am going to refer using my cursor. So for that I have created a cursor keyword. Cursor. I want to give a name to my cursor, C underscore customers. So my cursor name is C underscore customers. So use is a keyword to refer the cursor here. So I want to copy the data, whatever the data here I have. So instead of select star from customers, I want to use ID property, key variables I want to refer. I want to use the name property, and I want to use another property is the address property. Right? Cursor name is, it is going to fetch the data from this table. So now here cursor you declare, point taken, and you have mentioned the select statement. Then you have to open the cursor to fetch the data into the cursor. Because this select statement, what it performs, it reads the data from the customers table, right? Point taken. So 3 variables declared. Cursor is declared based on the select statement, right? The private memory has been declared, and in this private memory, the fetched data is available. So assume that customers table is there. This customers table data will be copied into my private memory of the database that I have mentioned in my program, that I want to read directly from there. That is the activity we are doing here. Okay. So now once this is done, so I want to terminate it as this is the statement. So 3 variables we declared and 1 cursor we declared, and the cursor is based on the 3 different properties of the customer table select statement. Now here I want to start the program, begin, and I want to mention end. Somewhere the program has to be ended, right? So now I want to open the cursor. That private memory, I have to open it. So what is the cursor name here? What is my cursor name? Can I know from all of you? Those who have joined just 2 minutes back, 2 members, they also can respond. Yes, Shayan, very good. Shayan, look it properly. Complete name I want. What is my cursor name? Very good. Sunny, Shayan, everyone have responded. Iman, Hussein, yes, very good. So that means that very clearly you understood this is my variable. So open cursor, right? So others who are following, that may be clear to you all now. So I am opening the cursor. So when the cursor is open, the state of cursor creation, then I have to open the cursor. So memory block I open. Into that particular memory, I want to read the values. Okay. So what are the values I want to read? So I want to write a loop construct. The basic loop I am writing here. Into the basic loop, once it's the loop started, then it has to fetch the data from the cursor. So where it has to fetch the data from the cursor, it has to copy the data into my variables. Okay. So I'm using fetch is the keyword, C underscore customers into my variables. What are my variables here? I want to mention into my variables customer ID. So directly the customer ID, 1 variable value. Fine. So then my customer name, copying into my customer name, and my customer address. 3rd variable it is. Into these variables, the data has to be fetched. Okay. Point taken, all of you. Fine. So it can be exited. It can be exited in case if it is not found any value. So I am writing here exit. So in case if it doesn't find any value, so it has to be exited. Fine. For that I am using, if the data not available, exit. When the cursor doesn't have any values, fine. That is when it is not found. So I requested you all to follow this not found. We have discussed in the last example of implicit cursor. I have used not found attribute here. So then I want to display all the values. So what the statement to display all the values? I have to write dbms method using the hook line. So dbms underscore output dot right. Then I want to write everything, whatever my variables I have mentioned here, because from the cursor I have taken these variables list. So C underscore ID is my variable. Fine. That I want to concatenate one more variable I want to use. This is the space I want to give, then I want to concatenate it. So space given, then I want to concatenate. So likewise, you can display the values of CNAME, C address. So all I am taking. This I want to concatenate the space of more, fine, C address. So that is the last variable, so that I terminated it. So by giving the gap, we have just read the values. So using a basic loop, we are fetching the data from your cursor, because you open the cursor to store the data. Then into your variables you are copying. Exit when the cursor not found any value using not found attribute. Then we are displaying the values of those variables here, that you can see all variable values. Fine. Then once it is done, you can terminate your loop, end loop. Fine. Loop is going to be ended. So then you can close your cursor. Close your cursor. The cursor is C customers. Fine. All of you, please respond. The small concept here, we declared some variables. These variables are based on the data type of those columns. Okay. All the data in the select is fetched at once. Yes, all the data in the select will be fetched at once. All will be copied into your cursor. So once this is copied into your cursor as the data, that is called as active set. That is the result of your query. So once if your cursor is holding the data, so I open the cursor to fetch the data from the cursor. So using a loop, because how many rows have been fetched, we don't know. So if you execute it, how many rows have been fetched will come to know. So I am executing this statement. These many rows will be fetched from there. So 1 minute I executed. Once again I will execute. So these many rows have been fetched. So how many rows? Total 8 rows and 3 columns data. Fine. So Mutuja, that is a inbuilt attribute if data is not found. So how you are getting a report that not found? So you are searching for some information. If information when you are searching, if it is not available, how it gives a report to you where ID equal to 100 I mentioned. So if 100 is existing, no row selected, how it has given a report to you? That is actually internally it is using an attribute called not found. So no record found here. So not found attribute is returning a data as no record. Okay. So that you are experiencing as no record found, Mutuja. But not found attribute actually is available here. Okay. Point taken. All of you please respond. Expecting response from all of you. Fine. Not found is available here itself. The implicit cursor property. So using that property, in case of a record is not found or any data is not found here, so it displays not found, no row, or else it displays the values into the, by copying the values into the variable, then we are displaying it. Expecting response from all of you. I hope it's clear to you all. Oh, who is this? Aryanagar, I want to interact with you. Very, very good you are. I must interact with you. Aryanagar, Kanpur, who is there? Who said the word CTU? I am very much impressed. Please, I want to interact. Please give a hand raise once again. Who is this? Who mentioned the word CTE? Please give a hand raise, empty hand raise. So whoever asked me, is it equal to CTE? CTE stands for Common Table Expression in Microsoft SQL Server. There also we use the same type of concept, but there also we have cursor. CTE is while operation is going on, while something is in process, that would refer it. Okay. So I'm using this statement. So if you look into this, the data has been fetched, as this is the data copied into the variables. How many? The 10 is the ID, ABCD is the name, okay, address is the third value. Ahmedabad, Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Bhopal, MP, HP, okay. Point taken, all of you. So how the data has been fetched and presented here, you can see the complete cursor statement here. Any questions? Declare cursor. Statements of action is what? 4 different steps you should do. Declare cursor, open cursor, fetch a row, and if the fetching is completed, close the cursor. Okay. So the controlling explicit cursor, declare the cursor, as this is the memory block as the first step. So who are sending a message that I am unable to see because immediately you are leaving it, I am not able to see. Create a named SQL area, then identify the memory block that is open. Where can this be used? Dynamic variables it is. Okay, in a program when you want to hold the data dynamically, so that you can use programmatically for updations dynamically, for fetching data dynamically. Fine. So that is the purpose of cursor, is nothing but a variable, a dynamic variable. Okay, Ramesh, thank you. So then you should fetch the data. If active set is not found, if return to fetch if rows are found. So in case if it is empty, then close it. So that condition will be true. If it is not empty, then fetch the data into the cursor. So load the current row into the variables. So we have copied it. Yes, Shayan. Very good, Shayan. So you are changing the logins. How can I found? Okay, I am not getting you. Fine. All of you, I hope it's clear to you all. So the steps are the important order of the steps. Modulo sign in declare section. What is that? Oh, Murtaja. Oh, very painful, Murtaja. The question is Murtaja, you are here? Hello. Yes, Murtaja. So don't you know what it is?
Yes, sir. The declare the first line of the program is in code now.
Data type of the column we are referencing to this variable. This is the first and second chapter topics. A1 topic it is. Okay.
Okay. The first topic.
Please go through the courseware once. Whatever I am explaining, all the same things are there. Okay.
Okay, okay.
This type
Okay,
is
sir.
representing. How many times I explained this, you know? As per my knowledge, 5-6 times I explained. Okay.
Okay, sir.
No problem. But once if you are going to declare a variable, instead of querying for the data type to refer, you can use the data type of the table type. Whatever the column is there in the table, so the same data type you are using for your variable. Okay? So I am sharing the example. See, once again you look into this example. Customers table and the ID property. The same data type we are using for your variable. Okay? That you are using for your variable.
Okay.
Fine, Muthuja. Please go through courseware. It gives good idea to you. So one more example, fetching data from the cursor. As per the textbook, you can see what are other examples I am explaining. Those are I will upload into group. Cursor you declared. Directly cursor you declared. Cursor name is C employee cursor. So this is the cursor name. I request you all to look into the cursor name. So is a keyword to refer what is the cursor is going to take the data from a query statement. Employee ID last name from employees where department ID equal to 30. It fetches all employee IDs last name of the employees who are working in department ID 30. So you are going to read the data into the variables, but all data you cannot copy in a single variable. Employee number and last name. Whatever the columns you mentioned, only 2 variables are created. But those variables have been declared with the data type of the column, so ID property and name with the data type of the same table. Then you are going to read the data. Once if the variables are referencing the first row, using the loop you want to read the data. So basic loop we are using here, fetch the cursor data into the variables. But in the loop process repetitively, one by one, from the active set, whatever the data copied into cursor, from cursor it would be copied into the variable. Whatever in each run it is copying, it would be displayed. Same example, but when cursor is not found, when data is not found, it would be exited. Point taken? So that is the reason, after reading the data, when it reaches to the last row, not found, then exit. Okay? Point taken, all of you? Yes, Shayan, others please respond. And if you are using for loop, the same way how we have used a while loop, basic loop, you can use for loop also. So for employee record in cursor, see that example. For employee record in cursor, fine. For employee record in cursor, in the sense, whatever the data is there in the cursor, that we are directly reading. Fine. Cursor is actually, employee cursor is the cursor name. So you retrieve the data using the query statement that has been copied into your cursor. So for employee record in cursor, then you are reading every record from there. All of you, please respond. If you are clear, then I will move forward. Fine. Okay. So when you are using explicit cursor, the explicit cursor attributes is open. Is open is an attribute. Evaluates to true if the cursor is open. So you want to check whether the cursor is open or not. So is open function. Fine. If the cursor is open, it shows the cursor is open. If the cursor is not open, it evaluates to false. What employee record that employee ID? It's not record we are talking. Okay, we are talking about. Okay, I'll go back and I will explain. This employee record is a dynamic variable you declare. Okay, so I want to share this example to you in case if you are finding any confusion in this. Sharing the example to you. One minute, all of you. Fine. So cursor you declared as employee cursor. So your table is employees table existing in your database. Okay. So 1 minute please. Let me copy some statements. Otherwise I have to type everything which consumes our time. So now I want to share select star from employees. These are the tables of your HR schema. Okay, well-known tables to you all. Employees, department, job grades. These are the different tables. Okay. So I'm going back. Cheyenne. So I'm retrieving the data from employees table. So these are all the records of employee table. So you can see all records have been returned. Now, once if you look into this, you declare a cursor as employee cursor. So it's the name of the private memory which you are referencing in your program. Okay. Select employee ID, last name from employees where department ID equal to 30. This is your query statement, not all records. So when you read this data, only the employee ID, last name has been returned. Only the people who are in department 30. So total 6 rows have been executed with this query statement. So these 6 rows are called as active result set. So that active result set is there in your C employee cursor. So dynamically you are reading that employee cursor data into a record, employee record. So what is record here? It would be copied with the values of employee ID, last name. First one is 2 values, 3 values, 2 values, 2 values, 2 values. Each one is a record. So that would be copied into this record table. So now here this has employee record has 114 and Raffle and 115 Co. Fine. So these are the values have been copied into employee record. Instead of referencing into a variable, in the previous example what you have done, you copied into the variables one after one. Now we are copying into a record. When you copy into a record, so record dot employee ID, record dot last name and referencing. Then loop is closed. Point taken. All of you please respond. Shion, using a different login ID. Okay. Shion. Yes, Rayan. It's good. Fine. All of you, I hope it's clear to you all. Any questions? Please respond. You can say yes, understood at least. Okay. So same like implicit cursor attributes, we have explicit cursor attributes also. Is open, if the cursor is open or not, if true, if it evaluates to true, the cursor is open. If it evaluates to false, the cursor is not open. Not found. If any fetch does not return a row, then not found. So in this previous example also, we have used not found attribute. What is not found attribute? When you use in a program, at a particular extent, when there is no record available further, then what is that one? Exit when cursor not found. So that I request you all to analyze this. See, using the loop, you are continuously reading the data till to reach to the last record of the cursor, right? So where you copied into a variable or where you copied into a record, but you will read till end of the row, end of all rows. So then there will be no value available further. So that situation in the memory block, it encounters not found. So when it is not found, it will be exit. Point taken. All of you please respond. When it is not found, it would be exited. Exit means then the cursor will be closed. Exactly. Aryanagar, Kanpur Center. Exit from read, then it comes out from that read location. Okay, Akshay got it. Okay. So we retrieved into PLSQL record also. So found when evaluates to true if most recent fetch returns a row, complement of not found. Number of records which have been executed is row count. Okay. Fine. So we shall see some examples of row count and not found. I am taking you all to that example. Fine. A small example, but gives you very clear idea of how to use these attributes. Cursor is the one. Name of the cursor is select employee ID, last name from employee. So the cursor is going to refer the location where the values have been stored of all employees here. So then I want to retrieve this by copying this statement. I copied this select employee ID, last name from employees. So just imagine that how many rows will be retrieved. So all rows of the employees table will be returned. Fine. So these many rows have been returned here. Nearly 104 rows or 108 rows based on the other values which we have entered. Okay. Employee ID, last name from employees. So all have been returned. But if you compare or if you combine these two, it is called as a record. Okay. This record is the employee record, is whatever the type the cursor has returned, that row type we are taking. Row type attribute is referring the entire row type. If you consider the row type, already we had a discussion. Employee ID is one particular data type, last name is one particular data type, that row has a data type. So this record is of that particular row type. So then you are opening the cursor. Using loop, you are fetching the data from the cursor into your record. So the record is going to store the values which have been fetched by the cursor. Now exit when row count is greater than 10, or exit when cursor not found any value. Fine. It would be exited when it is more than 10. So that we are going to display. Then finally we are going to close the cursor also. So let me show this. How many has been returned? Only 10 have been returned because we have mentioned exit when the cursor row count is greater than 10. If I change it to 5, then once if it is read the values of 5, then it would be exited. Okay. So from the cursor row count when it is greater than 5, then it has been terminated. All of you, please respond. Let's stay on. Good. All of you, any questions? So ask me, just give me a minute time, and meanwhile you can ask me if you have any question. I will explain. Okay? No need to hesitate. You can ask me any questions, whatever you have. Please respond. Any questions? All of you? Fine. So I will go for the next extent of explanation. Cursor for loops using subquery. Cursor using subquery. Okay. So when you are using this cursor for loops using subquery, there is no declarative section in that block. You please observe that there is no declarative section in that particular block. Okay. We did not mention any declarative block in that particular area that you can observe, and directly we started without declaring the cursor. So there is no need to declare the cursor event. Reason, the subquery returns the rows as you mentioned inside the subquery. Select employee ID last name from employee where department ID equal to 30. So the subquery retrieves the data. Usually the subquery is a process of retrieving some data through a particular query and taken by the other query. So the other query, in the sense here, it is going to be copied into your employee record variable. So that is the record. So subquery itself is a block of the memory where some data has been fetched and stored there. Okay. So that is the reason here there is no need to declare the cursor once again. Okay. So subquery itself acts like a reference address block of the memory. So whatever the data has been fetched by the subquery will be stored, and that we can refer into your record. Okay. Can I know from all of you the record data we are displaying there? Any questions? All of you please respond. Fine. So if you recall the concept, I want to share a small point of explanation here. We will write one query inside another query. Okay. So outer query will be executed based on the data retrieved by the inner query. That is the concept of subquery. What is inner query? It is a memory block which is referencing by the outer one. Right? Inner block is the one which is the memory block, inner query result set, that is referencing by the outer query. So that is a memory block. So there is no need to create it as a cursor again. That is the reason. Cursor for loops using subqueries, there will be no need to create a cursor when you are using a subquery to store the data into a record. This is a very tricky point. Even in interviews, you can give priority for this. Okay. All of you, if it is clear, then it would be good for us to move forward. Any questions? Fine. So one more concept is the cursor we can create with parameters also. So the cursor with parameters I want to share. You can pass a parameter to the cursor because the cursor is a memory block. If you can pass a parameter to that particular memory block, according to that it can refer that particular value as a where class, and then it retrieves the values based on the parameter you pass. open an explicit cursor several times with a different active set each time. So for that I want to share a big example, but easily you can understand the big example. Example content is not so big, but query statement is big, so that I want to share with you all. One minute. Before going to explain this, I want to share some of the tables here. Okay. One is the table company. Select star from company table. Wait. So the company table, product ID, company short name, company long name. Okay. Company short name 8. Okay. Sorry, I haven't shared the screen. You are also not responding for that. Okay. Fine. So I'm showing a table. Select star from company. Sharat video blinking. Fine. So select star from company is one table. There you can see the company dealing with some product, company ID, company short name, company long name. So as a general data. I want to show one more name, that is the product is the name of the table. So company and second is product. Fine. So first one I commented, second one is product. Product ID, product description. Java, Oracle, C#, JavaScript, Python. So this is the product name, product table. So company and product. So now if you look into this small query statement, so I want to use this query statement. I want to execute this query statement to explain some concept. Okay. So it's the join statement. When you execute it, let me check this. So now we combine the data of both the tables. Select H. H in the sense here, that is a product table, you created alias as H. And company table, you created the name as O. H dot product description, O dot company short name, where O dot product ID equal to H dot product ID. So you combine the data and you fetch it from both the tables. Okay. So if you look into this, is a simple join operation. So this is the entire data when you are fetching it and you retrieve where the product ID also should match. Okay. But you are displaying in a specific order, order by 2. Order by 2 in the sense is based on the company short name. So there you declared a cursor. At the time when you declared a cursor, I just showed the query statement first to you. Yes, it's exactly a cross join. Okay, because we see both we have combined as a cross join here. This is the cross join. So now here we are passing a cursor name is cursor value, and we are going to pass a parameter to the cursor. Key product ID number type. Okay, cursor name is cursor value. So when the data has been fetched and the cursor is referencing that location, so the cursor record you created based on the cursor row type. If the cursor returns these values, based on the data type, you created a record also. So this is the outer block till this begin is clear to you all. Till this part is clear to you all. Expecting response from all of you. If this is clear till this extent, then I will go for a loop construct. Okay. Got it, Sunny? Very good. So once again, we declare a cursor with a parameter. That's all. The remaining part is a query statement with a join and displaying in a specific order. There are two tables, product table and company table. Based on that, we combine. And we declared a record based on the cursor, whatever the record cursor holds. So that row type is a record. So in this begin and the statement of the beginning here, we declared index in cursor value. For index is the variable we are directly declaring. Cursor value we are passing 1. 1 is the parameter. When you pass the parameter as the product ID, we get product ID. So if you take the data from the product table, you will find the product ID here. So product ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is taking one particular product ID, then it's starting a loop. So in the loop, it is reading that particular data, nothing more in this. Okay, dbms underscore put output that put line. So we are reading the data of the product ID. Right side padding we are giving rpad function. Then we are reading the data. Okay, left pad rpad with the spaces. In case of spaces, we will reduce it. Okay, and then again we are reading the data by passing a different parameter. So this is the way you can retrieve the data from a cursor by passing a parameter. So I want to place it. So two have been read. One is the product one is Java, combination of this, and second product is Oracle, so combination of the company. So both have been fetched. Are you all clear? Cursor with a parameter. Yes, Shyam. What about others? Those many are there. Tambaram Center. All of you please respond. Rajashekaran, Southex, Dipanshu, Kankurgachi, Aryanagar, Andheri West Center, Bandra, Borvali. Borvali Center, what about all of you? Aditya, Aishwarya, Akshay, Chauhan, Darpan, Dubey Simran. You please be respond. Naveen, Sugyani, Panda Sugyani, Sonal, Sunny only responding regularly. Yashti Vendra, Mazibin, Minaz, Chiasat, from Gatkoper Center, Shruti and Verma Akriti. So everyone by name, Amir Bhaig, BKC Center. If I miss one or two names, Kankurgachi, 2 guest logins, Debosri. So I am asking you all name by name. If you have any confusion, you can ask me. If it is conflicting with your previous learning, then you please go through. Fine. Any questions? No questions, Akshay. So there is a quiz question. Can you all respond to this? The question please go through. Getting response from all of you. Implicit cursor are declared by PLSQL implicitly for all DML and PLSQL statements. The Oracle server implicitly opens a cursor to process each SQL statement that is not associated with an explicitly declared cursor. Yes, good. So far, whoever have responded, I appreciate you all. Yes. Fine. No one is given any wrong answer so far. All of you. Very good. Does cursor exist within the same session in SQL Developer? Yes. After that, it would be lost from its memory once the query execution is completed when you exit from the current session. Okay, good. Arya Nagar Center is like a variable as a temporary name, that's all. Fine. For update class. Yes, Chandra Bose, you can ask me. Chandra Bose, happily you can ask me. Fine. We can update using a cursor. Use explicit locking to deny access to other sessions for the duration of a transaction. Lock the rows before the update or delete. When you are using this cursor, you need to recall the concept of why do we need to explicitly lock your operations, like we are accessing the data to other sessions for the during of a transaction. Obviously, we should lock while you are doing a transaction. Otherwise, that would lead to inconsistency of the data read. So when you are updating a particular record or a row in a particular table, so you have to lock the resource not to be accessible by the other sessions. So that as long as your updation is in process, other sessions request will be in a queue. As and when your updation is completed, then other sessions can access the data, updated data. Otherwise, it leads to inconsistency of data analysis. So lock the rows before the update or delete is a general recommendation. It's not special for cursor. But here I am sharing an example. Updation of the cursor. Here you can see a small example I am sharing. This is the employee table. Employee table is different here. So let's start from employee. So we have employee table, first name, last name, start date, end date, salary, city, description. Okay, these are the columns we have. So salary currently is 10,000 here. So cursor employee cursor is select start from employee for update of salary. So per class is representing what type of updation the cursor has to do. For employee record in employee cursor. So reading the data from employee cursor and employee record is going to hold it. Update employee set salary equal to 10,000 where current of employee cursor. Current of is the one statement you should use where current of is in the sense that particular record or a row where current of. So I am sharing where current of to you so that I request you all to look into this where current of. So when you use where current of, here this is for the update or delete of a current row from that particular table. So when particular record is fetched from the cursor into a record or a row fetched from the cursor into a record, that particular row has to be updated. That is where current of. Can I know from all of you where current of is clear? All of you please respond. Yes, I'm taking you to the example once again to explain where current of. So I request you all to look into this. So I've changed it to 15,000 the salary, where current of that particular employee cursor. So that means where a particular row has been fetched, that particular row should be updated. So cursor, employee cursor is of the data for employee table for update of salary. For is a class representing what type of action it is going to do. Begin for employee record in employee cursor. So we declared employee record using for loop. So then it is starting the loop, update employee, set salary equal to, you can write salary equal to salary plus 5,000, or else all employee records can be updated to 15,000, where current of employee cursor. So current of is representing the current of class, where that particular record is being fetched, that is a reference of the current row from an explicit cursor. So end loop. So I'm taking this example, so we can execute it. So from 12,000 to 15,000 it has to change, then execute. PLSQL procedure successfully completed. So I'm just reading the data. Select start from employee. It is not the schema of HR. So employee, change it to 15,000. Any questions? Where current of is a class. So this is all about this session. Fine. We had a discussion on two categories of the cursor, implicit cursor and explicit cursor. Okay. Explicit cursors used for the queries. Implicit cursor are for the DML statement of single row queries. Explicit cursors can work on zero row return, one or more rows. And how to create an explicit cursor? You should create, open, fetch, declare, open, fetch. If it is available, read, then close it. So you can use simple loops and cursor for loops also we can use for reading multiple rows from the cursor, and evaluate the cursor status by using SQL cursor attributes like found, not found, row count. So using the for update class and where current of class allows you to update or delete a particular record from the cursor position. So these are all the different things we discussed in our class today, and you have this practice of doing the same. Okay, we should experience it how this is. So everything as per the textbook content, even one example if I show for a topic, remaining all you should do. That is actually the flow. Then only we can complete the course easily. But I'm explaining every example to you all with a hope that you all will do practice effectively in the machine row. Can I know from all of you? Can you all do the practice effectively? Because we have two levels. One is Oracle PLSQL fundamentals, Xion, and second one is Oracle level 2 activities. So okay, I will from this work week. Okay, and who have sent a message that was missed, please give a open feedback that you all will do practice. Okay, if you don't do practice, it would create a complexity of the subject. So in the next stage, in day by day, when we are moving from chapter by chapter, it would create a lot of complexity, right? No, I did not plan, Shion. There is no extra class planned in this week. Most probably, I may plan in the coming weeks. Okay? Yes, Naveen. Thank you, Naveen. Good. Fine, Shian. So we have less time to start a new topic, but I want to share what we will do in the next class. And I will share some information about the cloud consultation also. Okay. So tomorrow I am sharing the schedule, cloud consultation. So cloud consultation for doubt clarification at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Fine. So can I expect you all to be available? So those who are able to attend the session, they can join. Okay. Just is the doubt clarification. Those who are available, they only will join. Okay. Because everyone, I cannot pull them to come because colleges and other schedules you may have. Fine. The link will be shared into the group. From group you can access it. Okay. In case if you have college and others who have college, but we cannot avoid it. Okay. And other time slots also I will conduct a cloud consultation in future days. Right. So tomorrow at 3 p.m. No, this cloud consultation is you can join from home. Okay. There is no lecture to come to center tomorrow. This cloud consultation is what you know. I will provide a link that is internet-based link. You will get a different environment to connect to me and to ask your doubts, whatever you have after you study, right? For that, there is no need to come to center. It is not a thing to do from center. If you have internet connection at home, you can join to the session directly from home. There is no lecture tomorrow. I did not plan to have an extra session this week. Next week, surely I will have an extra session planned. Okay. So, the next chapter is about handling exceptions in PLSQL. So, generally, while you are writing your program, you may encounter many errors in the program. Not program-related errors. Those are commonly you will experience while you are writing a program. Maybe some of the syntax errors, some of the logic-related errors, or some of the other category of the errors in the program will experience, right? Yes, I will share the link into group, not now immediately. Okay, the link will be generated based on my request that I can make it available to you. Okay. Okay. Fine. So exceptions is what generally in programming languages what you learn. A situation where a program may run in an unexpected way. So by predicting that situation, how you make a program to run smoothly, right? So I will share a small example. So you can see whatever I am sharing here. So this is the calculator, a well-known software for us, like a small software application. So this is the purpose of addition, and this is the purpose for calculations like division, arithmetic operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. So we know this works well without any flaw. But if someone is trying to divide a number with 0, so 12 by 0, so then what would be the result of this? Can anyone predict it? If a number can be divisible by 0, can we divide a number with 0? No. As you said, no. Infinity. Hussein-ism. So now in case if an infinity number is generated, infinite number is generated, so error will occur, not defined or infinite. Fine. So this memory of the computer is not sufficient to hold infinite number. So it would lead to an error. But how the calculator developers thought it would lead to an error. So we have to handle that situation, right? Cannot divide by 0 is the message given to us. Means they predicted the situation, they handled the situation to share, not to lead into an unexpected way of execution. So system crash, software application hanging, those are all have been avoided with this small handling technique. So that is called as exception handling. Can I know from all of you? Is it clear to you all? Yes. So as part of this session, which we start in the next class on our next Monday, define PLSQL exceptions. You recognize handling unhandled exceptions, different type of PLSQL exception handlers, trap unanticipated errors, describe the effect of exception propagation in nested blocks, and messages how to pass in PLSQL with customization. So these are the different objectives we're supposed to reach by end of this session. This is the session we will discuss in next class. Okay, all of you, please. Any more questions? Fine. So I'm not going to start a new topic now. So I request you all to participate in feedback as part of today's session. Then you all can leave and do good practice tomorrow. Have a good day. No, next class, Ipanshu, again on Monday. I did not plan for an additional session this week. Okay? Fine. So we'll meet again on Monday as our regular session. And for cloud consultation, tomorrow we will meet. Fine. Participate in feedback as part of regular session. Thank you all. Good day to you and good night.